Well, here we are making waves at CCW 2026, and we have Mladen
Vratonjić.
So, Mladen,
Yeah.
this is your last CCW.
But I was correct you. I hope it's not the last CCW, it's just the last in this capacity.
In your capacity as chairman, correct, and we have the AGM today as well. So you will be handing over the baton.
That's for sure, but just I want to believe that it's not my last CCW.
As chairman, let me clarify, as chairman. Okay, so what we wanted to do is get a vibe of the CCW this year. So Mladen very kindly decided that it would be a good idea for him to participate in the podcast. So thank you so much, Mladen. So let's start there. So critical communications has evolved from seeing reliable voice streams of intelligent, interconnected mission critical ecosystems, and a few people have contributed to that. But as chairman of the TCCA, you've seen quite a lot of the transformation over the decades. You've been in telecommunications and part of the association, and you've had a particular slant towards public safety, I know. When you look back at CCW compared with the early years in the industry, what's changed the most for you?
A little bit of history, I hope you don't mind. It's our first event, which I was not present, but my predecessor told me it was planned for 50 people. And in the hotel room, it was booked the room for 50 people. And apparently 120 people appeared. So we immediately had to book a bigger room. That somehow pictures the interest and even at that time when there was it was just about TETRA, and our first events were called TETRA World Congresses. My very first event was in 2005 in Frankfurt. It was already a great event with exhibition space and lots of participants. But after the 3 hotel events, we went up to this level to have an event in some huge exhibition space. And now we are here with 250 exhibitors. We have a conference of 200 more speakers, 3 days event, packed with events and 3 conference streams. So it is really amazing. How is it and why is it? Probably there are several reasons. At the time when we started, the market was relatively independently. There were different markets with different systems. Right, TETRA is a standard. It's standardized communication tools, but each entity developed their own networks, and those were networks devoted to either public safety or other mission or other critical communications. And the market was less, and the number of participants and involved people in this market was totally different to what we have now. And I was lucky enough to witness the transformation of the industry. This is happening mostly in the last decade. Actually, I must stress one thing. It was our idea. So TCCA promoted introduction of critical communications in mainstream standards, in 3GPP standards. That was our idea, which we carefully tried to promote, and it was accepted by standardization entities. And one of the milestones was in 2013 when we signed the market representation partner agreement with 3GPP. At that moment, the standard is becoming mainstream, which means much more players, greater competition. Then it means introduction of public operators of critical communications, or communications into the world of critical communications. They recognize the business model, and we all know when public operators join, so the number of industry, number of manufacturers is joining this train as well. So this is what we have now. It is we can say that we are witnessing globalization. We are witnessing internalization, and of course interconnections. When I say internationalization, it's probably the first time that the whole world actually is following a single standard, which is great. You heard yesterday, I think John Black's interview when he told, "Yes, we are British." The question was something like, "You are not anymore part of European Union, so what are your plans for the future?" And he replied, "But we must go together. We must take into account all these uh, elements of possible interconnection, meaning standards and everything that enable functioning as a whole network of the European system." Now we are talking about European critical communication systems already, which is system or systems. So there were a couple, but could be European critical communication systems that work together. We are now talking about this, but later on maybe we can talk a little bit more about this interconnection. Then another thing, together with the development of industry and technology, also the consciousness of players went up. So maybe it's also due to current situation worldwide, which is, I would say, it was never so unstable and unpredictable as it is right now. I'm not going to comment any reason for this. Of course, I don't know. I'm not the one who can. But as a consequence of this, importance of mission critical communications is much bigger than it used to be before. And we must say that I've heard somewhere, I'm not the one who invented the phrase, but from mission critical, we are going to mission essential communication. So many missions you can't imagine without communications right now. So this is it, what we have now, and you can all see and enjoy the quality of this event and the number of people and everything.
It's definitely an amazing journey you have been on, and it's incredible what you have built. And we're happy to be here as well. I would say this year at TCW, we're hearing a lot about resilience, about cybersecurity, AI, and mission critical broadband and cross-border interoperability. Which of these themes do you think will define the most over the next decade?
Yeah, you just number them all.
All of them.
Well, in fact, they are all very, very much interconnected. So resilience heavily depends on cybersecurity and on reliability and on good coverage and everything.
Yeah.
So I would say in mobile communications, we have reached the speeds. 5G speeds are something that are absolutely satisfactory and good. Now, it's also our point when we talk about the future of future generation of mobile communications that we now put as the most important things: resilience, trust. So those are the communications where human lives depend, and they must be deterministic. They must function every time in the same way. They must be reliable. They must be resilient to all kinds of all kinds of interference and problems. So this is probably one of the most important things: is resilience. We have to take in the future. But with this, we also care, of course. So you mentioned cross-border interoperability. It's something you mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, the circumstances, especially in Europe, it was many years ago. It was TETRA Congress in Budapest that I was talking about. I don't speak French, but it sounds something like criminals sans frontières. Of criminals without borders.
Sans frontières.
So the point of that discussion was that criminals much easier adapt to the environment and function internationally and all over Europe than the services were supposed to prevent them from doing this and bring them to justice. So one of the necessities in this process is interconnection and critical communication that function across the borders. Another really important point is those uncertainties about climates. and all increased number of natural disasters that are happening, be that either storms or fires or whatever. This is also happening across the border. Doesn't take care of all the borders, and plus the political instability forces European countries more than before to work together. And as a result, we have that European critical communication system, which we are talking about. And we can proudly say that technical because within ETSI, technical committee for TETRA and critical communication evolution was functioning so far. It was completely maintained and sponsored by us, by TCCA. Now we transformed this group into a technical committee, critical communication systems. Besides doing everything that was related to TETRA, still continuing to do it, it's going to be responsible for defining and bringing and identifying the standards and the regulations that have to be changed and added to the existing standards in order to provide this interconnection across borders and for the future EU communication system. So this group now has, let's say, broadband and narrowband area, and we will continue to work as always. We are about open standards. TCCA promotes open standards, and we will continue to do it because we believe this is the only way to have greater competition, carrying better product, more players, better prices, and whatever goes together with standardization.
Yeah.
You also mentioned artificial intelligence. My opinion about artificial intelligence is a bit conservative. I don't think it. I think it's a buzz. It's a buzzword. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. I would say that not all that is called artificial intelligence today is really artificial intelligence. So it's
Artificial intelligence.
well, there is one nice saying: artificial intelligence is still better than natural stupidity. But this is it is many things that we call artificial intelligence today are in fact very sophisticated automation algorithms that are functioning and doing different things. When I was in the high school, I remember very well definition of intelligence. It was very brief. It was ability to navigate in new and unknown situations. That was definition of intelligence. Now, when you go to the internet try to find definition of intelligence, you know what I'm going to find? The definition of intelligence made by artificial intelligence. Which is much more simple.
Yeah.
It's much more simple. However, this was allow me for my last days at DCA to elaborate a little bit and deal with it.
You can say what you really think. You've only have a few hours left.
It's fine, but it is definitely artificial intelligence is going to play an important role in the future of critical communication. Also, even more in emergency communication. So, in the way how citizens contact emergency services and first responders, and everything, because it's very important in a huge quantity of data that will come now when people can use videos and data and everything to report the accident. It's really important to navigate through this data, separate them, analyze, find what's important. And this is the role that artificial intelligence could efficiently do, in my opinion. Plus, also in critical communications, deciding about routing, deciding about protecting, also having the role in cybersecurity, in providing cybersecurity, I think battles that can be identified by artificial intelligence, so possible threats discovered, and monitoring of the networks and problems. This is important. It will be part of
Probably searching area.
yeah, it is. But I'm not at all afraid for what people are talking here about that. We are going to lose our jobs, things like this. But it will not happen in the near future. I think we are still far from. But take it as my personal position.
So we've already established this is the last in your capacity.
Indeed.
Chairman. Let me just ask you then, as we have the elections later today, what does this event personally mean to you?
People ask me these days whether I'm sad because I'm leaving. Yeah, I don't. For the moment, I don't feel dislike. There is no dislike the feeling with me. I'm quite happy with what happened. I'm far from it that I want to say that it will happen just weekend. But I'm really happy to be witness of one so significant transformation of the industry and to contribute as much as I could to this what is happening right now. I've written one article will be published soon. Down to 10 years that changed critical communication, something like this. And so I put all my thoughts there about this.
And what is that coming out in those publications?
It is from critical communications today, so it can come up when they decide it should come out. So it was a privilege to witness this transformation of the industry and all this that was happening. It was really a privilege. Deeply personally, I will remember most are the people. Is I met such extraordinary people here in this. I know it helps when you are not in the company which is chasing the profits or you're not using. If you are not working anymore for the user that has all kinds of limitations in purchasing things, then it is expected from you that everything works and everything is perfect. You know? It was privilege working for the association, but the people I met and I worked with are really committed and fantastic people and devoted to care for 10 years. We never came as a board situation to vote. I would send 5-3 or 4-4 or something. Divided board is not a good board. So whenever we were not really close to decision, we changed, reformative, negotiated again. But it's, as I mentioned last night during the opening of ICCA, in those awards, we celebrate competition. We celebrate people who are coming, who are working, competing to each other, making better and better solutions. But in critical communications, the world is cooperation. Somebody put it as a competition. Some put the two words together. It was some years ago, and I really think it's about cooperation because we are nevertheless it's becoming a huge community. That is dealing with critical communications. We are still relatively small entity compared to I don't know billions of users of mobile telephony. And the only progress in critical communication goes we are coordination, we are cooperation, working together, the standards and everything. And what I've seen with the people I was working, it was everywhere willingness to cooperate, understanding, overcoming the local or company interests and just wanting to.
I think that's one of the great things about our industry.
Yes.
All of the competitors work extremely well together. It's almost like a family of friends rather than the hardened landscape of competition. And this is what makes it work.
And this is what makes me really happy that I was part of this industry, you know, where people are the notion of everything. And I leave TCCA. TCCA has become internationally recognized, very respected organizations. It's not just measured by the number of members, but when they see we have now members from all over the world.
The last question of today. What gives you confidence about the future of the industry?
The mission itself has never been more important. This never happened before, favorable or not, but definitely for the development of the industry is important and will guarantee that our industry will go forward. And however, as I mentioned earlier, the number of players we have now in the industry, they guarantee that the industry will flourish and that the technology, every day we have something new, it's happening in an incredible speed. So this is guarantees that our industry will follow it. So, and Probably the most important thing that you mentioned already, to repeat also, but that's the willingness to cooperate. That I don't see any reduction in this decision. I've seen only the willingness to cooperate, and this will continue like this. And TCCA is one of the places where we will facilitate this cooperation and try to make it institutional, if I may say. And I believe that we are doing a good job on that. It's important for the future.
Fantastic. Mladen, thank you so much for your time that you shared with us today. I know it's always busy. You've always got something to do, so we really appreciate you coming along. Enjoy the last CCW, or you being chairman at least. Of course, we'll see you back many, many times, I'm very, very sure. But I want to just say thank you very much for your time, your tenure, and your guidance. And you can step back knowing that you've really helped shape the industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.